Let me ask you something. Would you take less money for the same job for a better customer? That's what I really wanted to talk to you guys about today, because as we're filling in this story, I want to take a step back to the time when I started this whole journey. Now, the thing about this whole journey is when I started it, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And that's a lot of people here. They have no idea what they want to do with their life, so they just go out, they're trying things out, they're getting pointed in certain directions, and that's fine, right? But when I was starting out, I bought Ty Lopez's social media marketing agency program. I also was thinking to myself, hey, I'm gonna run people's social media and I'm gonna get $1,000 to $10,000 for running their social media. And so having a money goal, setting that goal is not a bad thing. When we set a goal and that's all we're thinking about, that's when we're gonna get into trouble. If all we're thinking about is the money, I have to ask you, what about the customer? And that's what I started to realize. You see, at first I was sure that I had everything figured out. I was just going to go after anybody and everybody that could give me money because I'm going after the $10,000 a month, right? And so I didn't care who I was talking to. But what I started to realize was the people that were saying no, they were all right. Now, the people that were saying yes were giving me a lot of pushback on prices. They were also very difficult to deal with. I had one person, I asked this question, and I don't know if it's good or bad, but I asked this question. I was like, hey, so what would you expect to pay for somebody to manage your social media? And he was like, I don't know, like $50 a month. And I took a step back. I was like, yeah, it's not going to work for me. I can't even pay my phone bill, let alone keep my electricity on. So I was experiencing the same thing over and over. Notice with everything that I was going through, I'm in this weird little spiral. So I go on this peak. I'm searching for clients. I'm doing all these social media audits all of a sudden. I'm really trying to push people to take my services. And then I'll find somebody that gives me the time of day. Well, this person is just really hard to deal with. They're giving me pushback with prices and everything in between. So how do we fix this? Well, I think the biggest thing that's overlooked in entrepreneurship and is not really talked about very much is the idea of really asking yourself, who do I want to serve? Now, I think it's in Expert Secrets. It might be in .com Secrets, but Russell Brunson in his book, either in .com Secrets or Expert Secrets, talks about really finding your target audience. Now, Russell Brunson's kind of a fanatic when it comes to these things. He goes down to the very bare bones thing about that person that he wants to serve. So down to their hair color, down to if they're male or female, down to what kind of money they have in the bank, what type of t-shirts do they like to wear, what do they like to talk about, what is their name even? So he's kind of the king of really finding your correct audience. But really, the root of that is you asking yourself, who do I want to serve? And I was never asking myself that question. I was serving money because I said, listen, I don't care who says yes, as long as I can get them to say yes on the dotted line. Totally cool. I'm totally fine with it. And so here I was, time and time again, going out to businesses, telling them how great I was. But what was I missing? What do you think would make it different and get these people to say yes to these crazy prices? This is something that I didn't know when I was starting out, and I wish I did. But the reality is, if you're looking at people's funnels, you're looking at people's ads, you're looking at how they're presenting products to you, they're never going to give you a product that matches the monetary value of it, right? So if they're trying to give you $100 product, if they're trying to sell you something for $100, they're not going to give you $100 worth of valuables, right? Because then you become a commodity and somebody could just go anywhere else and you're competing with price. But if you look at a situation, let's say you have a book, all right? I'm going to use, we could say White Fang. Let's say you have a White Fang book and you're really trying to make some money with it. This is how you're going to make money. You're going to sell other people's books. Let's just say for a second, you hone in on your key audience. You know exactly who wants your book and you try to launch it and nobody's buying. Well, what do you think that is? Why do you think that is? It's because you're not giving them enough value. If the book itself was worth $100 and you're trying to sell it to them for $100, they're going to go everywhere searching for that one person that has it for 97. But if I could take that book and let's say I add a chapter checklist going over points, and I add my review on the book, and I add an interview with the author, and I'm giving you your very own book light to read at night. I'm giving you tricks and tips to speed reading. You see, I'm building all this on top of just the book. Now, the value is more than $100, so I can justify charging $100. That thought is worth thinking about because we really can't just be competing with price. And that's all I was doing really with the social media managing and all that stuff. I was competing with price. So I would go in and I'd say, hey, yeah, I'll run all your social media for you for $1,000 a month. And somebody that was doing the same thing for me was offering to run their social media for $200 a month. Let me ask you, how could that change vitally if I just said, hey, not only am I going to run your social media for you, I'm going to give you suggestions of pictures every day. And everything that I do, I'm going to think about it correctly on how we can reach our audience. And I'm going to give you suggestions, 5 pictures a day that I think would be good on your social media. But I'm not going to stop there, because I want you to understand what to do with your leads, what to do with your customers when you get them in the door. Because me just getting them in the door isn't good enough. I need you to actually make the sale. I'm going to give you a guide on how to make the sale, or how to make a returning customer, or something like that, right? You see the difference, and this is something that I wish I would have known back then, because I was so worried about the money. So I was just chasing anybody and everybody. Well, really, if I honed in on my ideal clientele, if I really zeroed in on how much I wanted to make a month, so if I wanted to make $10,000 a month, that's fine. But then I also took it one step further and said, okay, everybody's going to walk through that door and everybody's going to offer them social media services. So how can I spice it up? How can I add bells and whistles to it? And how can I make it so irresistible that it doesn't matter if I'm charging 5 times as much as the next person? They're still going to say yes to me 10 times out of 10. So put aside for a second the money. Put aside how much you want to make. Put aside where you're at and just ask yourself, with whatever you're doing in life, who's my ideal customer that I want to serve? Once you answer that question, you're not only going to have your ideal customer that you would just love to hang around and things like that, you're also going to have a very happy customer, because the reality is, if it's a customer that you want to serve, you're going to be happy to be around them. And that's, chances are, it's going to rub off on them, right? And then you're going to be getting all these great results for them. And then they're not even going to have 1 ounce of an issue on why they should pay you $1,000 to $10,000 a month to run their social media. But once again, if you are competing with 12 other people in your industry that are going to the same person, you got to stack the value. Don't just sell them your service. Sell them a package deal with social media. That's something you don't see, because people are just like, yeah, let me just run your social media. That'll be $1,000. But what if you were like, hey, I'm going to run your social media. I'm going to run ads for you. I'm going to post once a day on YouTube for you somehow, some way. I haven't figured it out yet. And I'm also going to make sure I follow certain hashtags on Instagram. I'm going to reply to people's comments for you on all social media platforms. Will you give me $2,000 a month for it? Is there a better chance that they'd say yes? Absolutely. With that being said, like I told you throughout this video, I think it's super important to go after your dream client, those that you want to serve for the rest of your days as far as your business is concerned. And once you do that and you stack the value of everything you have to offer them, you're not only going to get yeses flooding through the door, you're going to get yeses flooded through the door of people that you actually enjoy being around. But what I want to do now, you're going to see a video pop up either to this side of me or this side of me. I never quite know where it's actually going to pop up. And this video that's popping up is actually going to take it one step back to a video that I was talking about my struggles, where I really open up about who I am as a person and what I'd been struggling with my whole life and how I pushed past that and got to where I am today. This video is going to pop up somewhere over here. And I want you to click on that video and go watch it. It's going to make this video make a whole lot more sense, and I promise you're going to love it. So I'll see you guys next time.